Gasparino and Chief Investment Officer at Matica Research. We have Chris Versace. Good to see you both. Charlie, starting with you.
I love your kid. He's doing the best imitation.
I was not kidding when I told who is it, Michael Starr Hopkins earlier. Hey, keep it clean. We got kids here. Keep it clean for the kids, and he's like, and I'm like, no, really.
I like the way he's imitating mommy, reading off the television.
Yeah, he likes to hold up the cards at the end of the show. Maybe he'll get the chance to do that, and you'll see him. So I'm not kidding. There are kids, but what's your take on it?
I mean, we don't know. I mean, we don't. You know, Donald Trump is clearly a protectionist. He has a weird economic agenda in the sense that he was for supply side economics, so theoretically he was for free markets, and he's for all these weird trade policies advocated by Wilbur Ross and Peter Navarro, two of the people in the protectionist wing of his cabinet. Wilbur Ross being the Commerce Secretary, Navarro was a senior economist. Mm-hmm. You know, this could be him just playing the art of the deal. You know, getting people to the table. It could be that this is the second step. Remember, he did the tariffs on the solar panels first with South Korea and China. Mm-hmm. That this is the second step towards getting rid of NAFTA and full-fledged, protectionism. And I don't think it's generally good for the economy. I like to see some evidence that it works. I like to see some evidence that NAFTA caused the hollowing out of the Midwest, the industrial Midwest. And one other thing, this always leads to higher prices. I just want to know if Donald Trump...
You're going to have to pay another penny on your beer.
Will Donald Trump have to pay more for that fake tan because tanning booths are going to cost more because of all the aluminum in the tanning
He always goes for the jugular. Chris, what do you think about this?
Well, I think part of what Charlie is saying is right. The question is Trump during, ongoing NAFTA negotiations, is he trying to improve the U.S.'s bargaining position? At the same time, we look at the market, and the market's unsure whether that's the case or is this really going to happen. And Trish, you pointed out earlier in another segment that the market, when facing uncertainty, it does what it usually does. It tends to retreat, and that's what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. My question is, or my bigger concern, is we would all love to see a level playing field. I don't think there's any question about that. Mm-hmm. I think the market is going to start to look at what is the pain to get there. We talk about wanting to have more steel workers, and employing more people. Do we have people out there who are trained? If not, it's going to take time for that capacity to come on stream. That means companies are going to be faced with higher prices, potentially inflation, to Charlie's point. We also might see some economic disruption as companies try and shift around who their suppliers are to get better terms. So I think there's a fair amount of uncertainty no matter how you slice it.
And I don't buy that this is totally unfair, that every trade deal is stacked against us. I just don't believe that.
Every trade deal.
Trump comes up with all this nonsense about NAFTA, and then you can read the other side of the story about how many U.S. jobs were created because of it. I'm just telling you, you start messing with free trade. The one time we knew that free trade caused. Can I just say this? Free trade would have saved the country from the Great Depression. Smoot-Hawley caused the Great Depression. Okay. There's no doubt about that.
It was one of the factors.
It's one of the major factors.
It certainly prevented us from getting back on track.
One of the major factors.
We're a whole lot different now than we were then, and we are a more powerful economy now than we were then. So I'm asking the question, if we're threatening these trade tariffs, maybe it would actually cause China and other places not to artificially subsidize their industries. Maybe they'd actually start getting a little bit more fair. Because we have more power than we had in the 1930s. That's why it is different than Smoot-Hawley.
Do we really have more power? Listen, I don't know about power. What I know is this.
Economic power.
What I know is this, is that the world is an integrated place. That if you start jacking up prices of aluminum and steel that are being imported, it's going to cost more to build a car in the United States. That's going to depress automobile jobs.
But here
That's going to cause inflation. Yeah. That's simple economics.
Not necessarily.
Why are the car makers not for this? Why are the car stocks down? They're all down.
So you're going to pay more for a car. I use this example a lot. And Chris, I'd like to get your take on it. In other words, if we pay more for cars or we pay more for our iPhones because they're made here in the U.S. and people are making wages in those jobs, enough of a wage that they can take care of their family, we then don't have to pay everything in the way of disability, welfare, et cetera. That's where we save the money because people are actively engaged in the workforce. Your thoughts?
Well, I think, first of all, if we look at the average or the median income in the U.S., it's still $31,500, barely unchanged from where it was in 2000. So will we love to get these jobs? Yes. The question is, as prices go higher in the short term, are we going to see more pain by consumers or not?
You've got lower taxes. You've got lower taxes for corporations.
By the way,
you've got lower taxes for
the other
individuals.
thing to think about, though, is what is going to happen with how is the Fed going to see this ahead of their FOMC meeting on the 21st?
They're not going to like it. Jerome Powell already said yesterday he doesn't like tariffs.
Let's be real clear what we're saying here. We're saying that the old industrial Midwest, which is totally changed now, the steel production is totally changed, and it's a much more efficient. It produces a lot less jobs than other industries. That's good. You really think that's going to come back? That's insane. That makes no sense. It's never going to come back. And by the way, those jobs have been. Those jobs
I don't know
are.
if it's going to come back
those
to the
jobs.
same extent.
Those jobs. Those jobs are
thing.
made so much. The amount of people that are needed for those jobs now, as opposed to then, is minuscule. Just so you know that. So
I don't disagree with that,
right,
Charlie. But I think the reality is, if we look at the oil industry and the improvements in technology and the rebound we are seeing there. We can compete on the global stage. I don't think there's any question about that.
Prices are coming down of oil and everything because we're producing so much of it.
We can compete in steel and aluminum as well with these technological advances.
Oh, come on.
For sure.
No, we're not going to.
For sure.
We're not going to produce jobs.
I've got like 50 rap cues already from poor Kara, who's in my ear saying, "Please stop, please stop. We got to go. We got to pay some bills." But Chris, Charlie, good to see you guys. We're going to head down to the NYSE next.
What if progress had stopped here instead of reaching higher? At Franklin